Hello guys, my name is Belen Castaneda and I will be talking about the influence the Beatles had on the entertainment industry and society. Who were the Beatles? The Beatles were an English boy band from the 1960s who originated in Liverpool, England. They were a household name and they were the most influential band of the rock era. They were made up of John Lennon and Paul McCartney on lead vocals and songwriting, George Harrison on guitar, and Ringo Starr on drums. They were rock and roll and pop. They became international celebrities and had an enormous influence on the world. Their bands were not ordinary fans. They were actually very unique. They caused a huge hysteria, and this is actually called Beatlemania. The reason why I think Beatlemania was a huge phenomenon is because their fans lived in the moment. They didn't have cell phones like we did, cameras, and social media to distract them from what was going on. They just had the genuine experience in front of them, and they were able to enjoy it to its fullest potential. The Beatles were definitely music innovators. They were the first to have a short film and a track together, and that's how the music video started. Today, artists definitely are very competitive with music videos. They want to be the most creative, the most compelling, most wow factor people. And they were also rule breakers. They used several tracks and different sounds to make their music stand out. The Beatles were fashion icons as well. They started several trends. They were kind of like the Kardashians of fashion and trends back in the day. Anything they did, people wanted to be just like them. For example, they started the trend for long hair on men. Before, it was actually pretty taboo, but once the Beatles started rocking their long locks, they started manufacturing Beatles wigs, and bands started growing out their hair. Another fashion statement that they made was circular lenses, because that was John's signature style. It's kind of controversial that the Beatles may have influenced the use of recreational drugs, because in the 60s, the use of recreational drugs was not illegal, and they had several songs that may have alluded to drugs, like Turn Off Your Mind and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. In addition, Paul McCartney admitted to using LSD. John Legend spoke about this, and he said that, "I never felt any responsibility being a so-called idol. It's wrong of people to expect it. What they are doing is putting the responsibilities on us," as Paul said to newspapers when he admitted to taking LSD. "If they were worried about him being responsible, they should have been responsible enough and not printed it, if they were genuinely worried about people copying." So the Beatles did not think that they had an influence on drugs. One of the most influential people from the Beatles is Paul McCartney. He was one of the main songwriters, and he wrote their biggest hits like Hey Jude and Yesterday. Yesterday is actually the most covered song in history. He was also a philanthropist because he donated to several breast cancer foundations because his wife passed away from breast cancer. He's also spoken about being a vegetarian, and he is a celebrity spokesperson for people for the ethical treatment of animals. John Lennon is also one of the most influential people from the Beatles. He was an advocate for world peace, along with his wife. They really wanted people to stop being so critical of themselves and the world, and they did this through their music. But his life came to a short end, and people were very moved about his assassination. In conclusion, the Beatles were definitely game changers. They changed the world of pop culture because they were music innovators, trendsetters, and peacemakers. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you learned something.